Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today's challenge, I'm going to be using the new SR338 Snipre Rifle. DICE is absolutely terrified of making designated marksman rifles powerful in this game. Like, they did not want to make them anywhere near as good as they were back in Battlefield 3, and because of that, they've created this abomination. The SR338 could possibly be the worst weapon in the game. Like, it doesn't do well in any single type of combat scenario. It's got one good property, which is the fact that it does 50 damage a shot up close, making it so that if you are within 10 meters of your target, you can drop them instantaneously if you do get a headshot. But that is the only thing going for it, and honestly, every other stat makes it abysmal. And so the first thing that's really holding back this weapon is the fact that it has a very slow rounds per minute, and then on top of that, if you try to take advantage of that slow RPM, you also have an incredible amount of bullet deviation. You guys will notice throughout today's video, if I press the button continuously and I try to get that full 150 RPM out of this weapon, my bullets fly all over the place. When I think of a sniper rifle, I think I'm going to have pinpoint-like accuracy. I am assuming that I'm going to be able to snipe people at long range, I'm going to be able to get those headshots no problem, but that's just simply not the case with the SR338. Like, if you want to get that pinpoint-like accuracy, you can't even take advantage of the RPM at all. Like, if you press the button continuously and you try to get the 150 rounds out of the weapon, which honestly is low, like you compare that to pretty much all the DMRs or semi-automatic, DMRs in the game, they usually have an RPM of 250 to 300, like the SKS is I think the fastest at 333. You can't even take advantage of that extremely low RPM because your bullets are going to go every single direction and you're not going to get that pinpoint-like accuracy. And then on top of that, it also has one of the worst vertical recoils in the game. It has a vertical recoil of 0.6, which is just atrocious, and then a left kick of 0.1 and a right of 0.3. And so once again, if you try to take advantage of that low rounds per minute and you're continuously pressing the button to get as many rounds down range, you're going to have a weapon that's bouncing all over the place and you're not going to have the accuracy to take out your target. And then the one thing that really confuses me is the damage model, because it does 50 damage per shot up close, which is awesome. Like, you get up close and personal, you're within 10 meters of your target, you're able to get a headshot, you're going to be able to drop them in one bullet. Like, that is the most appealing aspect of this weapon. But then it immediately starts to drop off in its damage, where at long range, it's only going to do 38 damage per shot. And so essentially what this means is that it's pretty much always going to require 3 bullets to take out your targets in every single type of combat scenario unless you're within 10 meters. And you guys know when you're using a semi-automatic designated marksman rifle or a sniper rifle, you're not going to do very well up close unless you have that pinpoint-like accuracy and you're able to get headshots all over the place. But trying to get those headshots is not easy because you have such a low RPM and because your bullet deviation flies all over the place if you try to take advantage of that RPM. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't understand what DICE was going for with this weapon. I'm simply convinced that they are completely terrified of making the designated marksman rifles as powerful as they were back in Battlefield 3. Like, that is the only way I can see them justifying giving them a nice stat of a high damage model up close, but then completely nerfing every other aspect of the SR338. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense in my mind. And so essentially what we have here is a weapon that, yes, does a lot of damage up close, but after 10 meters, it's essentially just a normal designated marksman rifle. Like, all the DMRs in the game, from the SKS to the RFB, they all kill their enemies in 3 shots if you're getting just a normal body shot, or 2 if you get a headshot at all distances. It doesn't matter if you're playing up close or at long range, you get 3 bullets in your enemy with a normal designated marksman rifle, you're going to be able to take them out. But the appealing aspect of those guns is that they don't have a crazy amount of bullet deviation and they have a higher rounds per minute. And so essentially what we have here is a weapon that is so situational that it doesn't even make sense to use it, because you are going to have to be one of the best players to do well with the SR338. You're going to have to play extremely aggressively to get those headshots. You're going to have to be able to get those headshots consistently, and then you're going to have to be able to work around all of the negative aspects that come along with it. And so, in my opinion, I cannot see why you would want to use the SR338 over the normal designated marksman rifles. Like, sure, it does a lot of damage up close, but that just simply does not take away from the fact that it has all of these other negative attributes along with it. That being said, though, there is one appealing aspect, and that that is the fact that if you've ever wanted to use the higher optics on the DMRs, that is available for the SR338. So if you wanted to use the 8x scope or even like the 40x scope, that's tickled your fancy. I don't know why it would, but that is available for the SR338, and you do have that available to you. And so when I first started using this weapon, I tried out everything to make it work. I tried playing aggressively with the red dot sight. I tried out a bunch of different attachment combinations, and while initially I thought that playing aggressively was going to be the way to go, I was going to get headshots, I was going to be that skillful player just nailing people left and right, getting up close and personal, honestly, that playstyle just simply isn't going to work. Like, you need to be one of the best Battlefielders out there. You need to be a first-person shooter god, because there are so many things holding back this weapon. If you play aggressively, you're probably just going to die. Like, if you are not within 10 meters, let's say you're just 12 meters out, you get a headshot, you're still gonna need to get another bullet into your enemy, but because of the low rounds per minute, the enemy is just going to be able to blow you out of the water. Even if you started the firefight first, even if you got one shot into them before they even saw you were there, they're probably still going to be able to take you out because your weapon just sucks in every single category. Essentially, what I discovered to be the best was to use this as a normal sniper rifle. I would play at extreme distances, I would use the 8x scope, I even tried out the 40x scope, and I went for camping recons. I went for stationary targets, I went for people that were going for objectives, and I just tried to keep my distance. I tried to get headshots as much as I could and to quickly take them out that way. But the downside of that is that when I was going for these targets, I felt like I would have been just way more successful just using a normal sniper rifle, a normal bolt-action rifle, because then I would be able to take them out instantaneously if I did get that headshot. If I'm going for an enemy and they realize I'm shooting at them, they're gonna do their best to duck behind cover. Like a normal human being that has a general grasp on how first-person shooters work, if they start to see red goo fly up on their screen, they're gonna duck behind cover. They're gonna bob and weave and do whatever they can to make themselves a harder target to shoot at, so it makes it much more challenging to finish them off with the SR338. Or really, this is actually true for all of the designated marksman rifles. And while I did have a lot more success with that mentality and trying to play more of a supportive recon, I just felt like I would have been way more successful if I just used a normal recon weapon, normal bolt-action rifle, and got headshots instead of just trying to pelt them continuously downrange, notifying them that I'm trying to kill them, allowing them to duck behind cover, and not allowing me to secure the kill. And so overall, I just cannot see why anyone would want to use the SR338 Snipre Rifle. Maybe if you are looking for a challenge, maybe you're into just feeling a lot of pain when you feel video games, but for me, I want to have an enjoyable experience, and that just simply is not the case when I'm using this weapon. I honestly think that really the only way that this would somehow be a viable option is if they increased its rounds per minute, but also reduce the crazy amount of bullet deviation. Like, if I'm going to use a sniper rifle, I expect there to be some resemblance of accuracy, and to have your bullets flying all over the place, not only because of the bullet deviation, but because of the high recoil, it's just not fun. It's just not a fun gameplay experience at all, and so I simply would not recommend the SR338. But that is about it for today's challenge, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you have a setup that you would like me to try next, let me know down below in the comment section, and also make sure to thumbs up those recommendations. But until tomorrow, have a good one, and take it easy.